Yo, how's it going? Our account manager returned from his trip. Oh my god, it's our account. Is that right? Time for guillotine test? Oh my god, you guys are just leaking all the things that we're gonna do today. Oh my god, I had so much videos that I wanted to do, but me being in Canada was preventing me from doing it. It was to the point, okay? Look at this. I was doing testing while I'm on the airplane, okay? It's just to give you guys context of like the things that I was doing for you guys, okay? Yeah, our streamer, exactly. So when I was doing testing with Guillotine on my phone, my main issue was not getting the FPS on my phone. And you know how it is with machine guns and FPS. Okay, I don't think I've ever reached close to 40 mil on my phone. Yeah, this is that's a PC to mobile difference. Funny how back then we were like, oh, mobile is better because you get better FPS, and now we're back to PC having better FPS. I'm getting 20% more DPS on my PC than on my phone. So the thing is, before the update I was actually getting 20 to 28 mil. After the update, she got about a 50% roughly damage increase. The update was huge for Guillotine actually. Her burst has good scaling too. See, that's the thing, I'm not even calculating bursts just yet. Okay, let me show you the difference, right? Pay attention to the numbers and the color of the numbers. Pay attention to the color of the numbers. You see that? Then now let's look at this one. You see the color of the numbers? Then you see this one. The main reason why Guillotine is able to catch up to Scarlet is because of that. Okay. Alright, this makes sense. But yeah, the core shots do make like a huge difference on making Guillotine catch up to Scarlet. And so if you want to increase Scarlet's damage a bit more, the main way to do it is not just max ammo but also hit rate. I'll switch to Scarlet later to just show it also on Scarlet. You look at this one, right? Look how much she's not hitting the core at all. Like the core, there's so many white numbers and yellow. That means you're not hitting the core. Red is the one where you're hitting the core. Yeah, that's red is the core shots. And see how often that is when you compare a machine gun versus like an AR. And in order to keep it consistent, I'm gonna give her Bastion also. If it's the same as when we were testing on phone, I would say there shouldn't be that much difference between phone and PC for AR. Then we would be seeing 50 mil solo. See, actually, the funny thing is my Scarlet did less damage. Wait a minute. Is a Guillotine, if she healed up, if it's her buff gun? No. Guillotine's buff is based off how much HP she has lost. So she actually loses damage if you heal her up. And to prove that, basically look at this. Okay, so with Blanc and Noir, my Guillotine only did 50 mil or close to 50 mil, 49 mil. And you have to remember, Blanc is like a completely separate multiplier. Meanwhile, where the one on the part where she did her low HP, she has 44 mil, but that's with Sentient Brid. So she's not getting any buff from Noir and no multiplier, separate multiplier for Blanc. The difference is not that much. So that means that she's losing her buff, her self buff, because of lower HP. Her HP is low, so she die at the breeze. See, that's the thing. She's not gonna be usable in every single boss. And you shouldn't use her on every single boss either. She is more used for bosses where you can actually properly do the mechanics, but doesn't need healing in order to survive. Alright, chat, pray. Here we go. I need max ammo. Defense. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's huge. That's what she said. But this actually puts it equal with my Scarlet, because my Scarlet has like the standard 68% max ammo and nothing else. So this actually is really good for our testing purposes. Chat. Looking pretty good. Then her S2. You know what's funny? I'm actually gonna. I'm not even kidding. I was actually planning to skill her up. Why not skill reset soon? No, I plan on actually using her. Yeah, this is not me. Oh, maybe she might be good, she might be not. No, I was actually planning on using her. Okay, but maybe okay, to make it equal, we just do skill 2. Okay, just go for skill 2, not skill 1, because like I guess my Scarlet doesn't have skill 2, although it doesn't really matter because like, yeah, the skill 2 is kind of useless on Scarlet, but I could argue that skill 1 is actually good on Guillotine. Oh, 9.28. Okay, that's not much difference from right now. Okay, all right, let's go with skill 2. We'll max skill 2. Yeah, the thing is, like, I already like firmly believe that she's good. Like, she's good in so many reasons, but obviously she has a lot of limitation on when you can use her, right? Like, that's obviously the biggest weakness that we have, but does it matter? I mean, just like any other units, we're gonna have a lot of limitations. If she had no, I would actually argue that I like her burst more than Scarlet. Like, Scarlet is used for, like, you know, those AoE situations, but no, Guillotine is made for bossing. Because, okay, here's the thing, right? Guillotine, she wants to be at low HP. You can't really have low HP against, like, when there's so many mobs, because those many mobs do those chip damages. Like, they throw those like needles at you, like, just, it's like, ugh. You're gonna get those chip damages, and then if Guillotine is running at like really low HP, you're pretty much fucked. So that's why, like, Guillotine is made for bosses where there are some bosses where you can completely like negate entire like boss mechanics and you can do the damage without getting hit at all. One example, Train, like Altizen, right? Although Altizen is weak against fire, there's gonna be other bosses where surely she'll work. Oh, Land Eater. Land Eater is water. Wait, does Land Eater have any chip damages? Do you guys remember? As far as I'm aware, I think you can completely do the entire fight. Can you do the entire fight without getting hit? I can't remember actually. The blue missiles. But you could iframe that, I think. Yeah. And in fact, I will actually tell you, it's actually easier to iframe with machine gun assault rifle, because they tend to be more in front of shooting, right? They tend to constantly shoot, and then so all you have to do is just cover in time. I feel like she can only be used against specific bosses because her mechanic main series. Yeah, no. That's perfectly fine. I mean, she is not a generalist, obviously, but I still do think that she is worth investing on, especially when we don't really have a lot of Electro units that are really useful. If we go with electric units, there's not that many that are really useful. Haran isn't really for bossing. Isabel, maybe you could argue with her. No one is kind of like brave enough to fully invest in her. I think there were some of you guys that did account reviews. We have seen some invested Isabels, okay? But the thing is, like, you get an overload. Yeah, when we say proper investment, I mean overload, skill levels, and then like everything else. But okay, let's finish up the rest of upgrades and then we'll see. You guys know who have been in my stream that I was gonna upgrade her. I even said it before her buff got announced too, because I was already using her before then too. I just didn't have the resources to immediately upgrade her, but now that I do, oh, actually we already upgraded. Okay, let's go. Oh, that sucks whenever someone like blocks you for doing the core shots. Oh, they keep blocking. They keep blocking Guillotine for core shots. Wait, stop doing that. Our scores are gonna be lower than actually. Wait. Core blockers. We still got core block there. Now obviously she does have a lot of limitations, right? But Again, if you can fulfill all those conditions, oh man. Oh man. So let me explain to you why this is happening, right? Let me explain to you why this is happening. It's very simple. That right here. This is not unique to Guillotine, by the way. Deals 200% damage when attacking to core. Actually, even Scarlet does have it. But see, the main difference is that at which rate are they actually attacking the cores? Machine guns essentially have 100% attack rate on the core. But Scarlet assault rifle doesn't really have. You can see it. We can show it here. You'll see it here also. The real question is, will the damage look at on the team with healers such as Noir? I already said it. Guillotine will not have good damage with healers in it. The skill that we increased will barely mean anything. But yeah, you see all reds. Meanwhile, Scarlet, you see, look at the core. This is medium range. And even if we force her to do in the short range, there's a short range here. And this is medium range. Oh, and by the way, assault rifle have range damage bonus on medium and far range. Machine guns only have damage bonus on far range. So actually, assault rifle has more like encompassing on the damage bonus. But the main difference on that one is it's only 30% difference, or it's only 30% bonus damage on the range bonus. So even if assault rifle has damage bonus on unit, because it's farther, you core shot less, and because you core shot less, you deal less damage. A lot of people are arguing, it's like, oh, Guillotine will never outdamage Scarlet because because Scarlet is a pilgrim, and they want to use pilgrim. Yeah, pilgrim shouldn't be weaker than that, but that's not the whole point that we're talking about. You could have like a unit that is not a pilgrim and it's a specialist. You have Alice that does more damage than a lot of units. Same with Maxwell. Like Maxwell, they provide more because Maxwell gives attack buff to two other units. Could be her also, but she gives another attack buff to like a main DPS. So just because like they're pilgrim doesn't make them immune to like, oh, someone's better. Again, I do think that Scarlet is better in a lot more content than Guillotine because she's fine with healing so that she can still maximize her damage. But Guillotine needs to make sure that she doesn't get any healing. And that does restrict us on the places where we can use Guillotine. So let me show you the difference. This is an example of where Guillotine will deal less damage than Scarlet. I'm gonna make sure that Guillotine doesn't burst, so it's consistent. See, we're not even talking about burst right now too. Okay, 51. And actually, I'll just use Scarlet now because it will actually clearly show the difference immediately. Here, it should be around 70 mil. Yep. See? So that's a situation where Scarlet does better than Guillotine, right? When you have a healer. But then let's toss the healer. Fuck the healers. So now the situation without a healer. I do think that Guillotine will still come out on top. Here's another thing, which I probably forgot to mention. Chances are, I would actually use Scarlet and Guillotine together anyway. I will use them both in a situation where they're both not getting heals. Because Scarlet does actually deal better damage when she is at low HP, right? She has, even though it's slightly not that much, it's still really good, right? Like critical rate plus like 20% over or something like that, right? Over 20% crit rate is like pretty good. Okay, so here we got 59. Having them in the same team makes sense? Exactly. I'm gonna be using them in a situation where it's against a boss that doesn't need healing, because they're both units that more damage when they're not being healed. Another unit that is good for them is actually Guilty. The reason is because Guilty also doesn't need a lot of attack buffers. In fact, I might actually use them with Volume. Volume, Guilty, Guillotine, and Scarlet are actually a pretty good combination because both those three don't need attack buffers that much because they get a lot of attack buffs just from their own. And Volume, you know, she buffs crit. A lot of these units have increased crit rate. Guillotine and Scarlet has increased crit rate. Yeah, so it's gotta be really weird, obviously, finding a team or a boss where those units will actually start being good is actually, you know, it's gotta be difficult to find that, but I think we can find them, right? Yeah, especially if it's water, which is weak to electric. Okay, seems like it's consistently 59, so let's switch to Guillotine this time. And who wanna bet that Guillotine will actually do more damage? I actually think Guillotine will still do more damage. 59 versus 69. This UR will have a good time to test out Guillotine. Oh yeah, I've heard that there's like gonna be a water boss, the perfect water boss for her. Yeah, I know, right? Okay, let's see. Yeah, I just want to last the whole fight. I don't want to, I might end up killing her. Okay, by the way, this is where Scarlet also will outdamage Guillotine. I guess this is a good example to show also that Scarlet can outdamage Guillotine because there's not a lot of cores that we can hit, right? So in that entire Nihilister fight, we weren't really targeting hitting any core, and so obviously that's where Scarlet is like a good place because you're not really hitting Guillotine. She is kind of getting her advantage because she was hitting so many core shots, right? Meanwhile, Scarlet wasn't really hitting a lot of core shots when we were in the practice mode. So this is like a situation where Scarlet can outdamage Guillotine because there's not a lot of core. I think that sums it up. We know Guillotine's strengths and weaknesses. Oh, and just to finalize the conversation on this one, obviously, if I have to recommend, like, who would you upgrade, Scarlet or Guillotine? I mean, I would obviously go with Scarlet. She's a lot more universally useful. But like for Guillotine, I don't think there's anything wrong if you start working towards like specializing the Electro element, especially. And again, like I said earlier, I would put Guillotine and Scarlet in the same team because they do benefit at having lower HP. And I would try to put them in a boss where I can benefit off taking advantage of them not getting any damage taken, because there are some boss where you could kind of do that. You just play around like by covering, and maybe do what we did earlier, have a taunter, right? Like Noise. We could have Noise taunting for both of them. Anyways, look, yeah, that's still the comparison if we're putting them face to face right next to each other. And this is not even including the bursts yet. Against a single boss, Guillotine would deal more damage. But yeah, I'd say Guillotine is really good right now, actually. Yeah. And here, let me show you again the overload difference. It's a 40% max ammo with elemental damage 16%. And for Scarlet, it's 68% max ammo.